I decided to try it myself. Lately, I've been feeling extremely fatigued, so I wondered, could this be boost I need? After some thought, I decided to take the blood stem cell injection. Do I look a little more refreshed? I had it done just 2 days ago. I'm sure you're curious how it felt. We use a slightly thicker needle. It feels similar to when you have blood drawn for a blood test, just a little uncomfortable. Honestly, it sting a little, but you know I kept myself cool. So I just held it in and went through with it. Then they draw blood. Seems like a lot, right? A standard blood donation draws about 300 ml. For this procedure, we usually collect around 30 milliliters. So now that we've drawn the blood like this, and now this blood goes into a specialized kit, not usual PRP kit. Some people ask, what is the difference between a PRP kit and this blood-derived stem cell kit? First, there is a big price difference. PRP kits are relatively affordable, whereas the kits used for isolating blood-derived stem cells are considerably more expensive. Each one costs around... This is the kit we use to extract blood stem cells. It looks quite sophisticated, doesn't it? PRP kits, on the other hand, usually just look like simple test tubes. The kit also contains an anticoagulant to prevent the blood from clotting. So under these conditions, the blood stays fluid as we transfer it into the kit. Once all the blood is in, you feel everything. Then we place it into a centrifuge. This is not a regular centrifuge. Earlier it dropped from about 21 degrees C down further, and now it's at around 4 degrees C. When we spin this at 4 degrees C, we can obtain a much higher number of cells. We spin it left, then right, then run a second spin as well. Each spin uses a different rotation speed for optimal separation. Then we begin the extraction process. This gives us a small volume of liquid containing both plasma and stem cells. We mixed with saline and then injected. I've seen clinics hang the preparation on an IV line to administer it. But when you do it that way, stem cells tend to stick to the tubing. Stem cells can attach to the tubing very quickly. They adhere very quickly, almost instantly. That's why we inject immediately after extraction, so nothing is lost. So yes, I finished the injection. After that, we give what's called an activation infusion. Because stem cells are delicate and sensitive, mix of vitamins, calcium and magnesium helps support and activate them. It helps. Wow, I'm feeling amazing. Felt like I treated myself today. Many of you have probably heard about blood stem cells before. When blood-derived stem cells enter the body, they trigger the release of cytokines and influence the immune system. When inflammation levels are high, people tend to feel very fatigued. In these situations, when blood stem cells are introduced into the body, we often see inflammation markers decrease and fatigue symptoms improve. They say that. Of course, the effect also depends on how many stem cells are injected. What I received today was actually a very small amount. 30 cc is considered a very small volume. In some cases, we extract and inject up to 240 C, and generally higher volumes tend to produce stronger effects. If you receive too small amount, it can be hard to tell if it's making a difference. Also, very healthy individuals sometimes say they don't really notice much change after the injection. But for people who feel slightly unwell or fatigued, it can be very helpful. Of course, when we use blood stem cells for certain medical conditions, sometimes we inject into the carotid artery rather than general circulation, and we sometimes observe very interesting responses. For example, some patients report sudden improvement in vision, others say their hearing improved, some notice better sense of smell, some say frequent mouth ulcers improved, or they had headaches that have since resolved. We receive a wide variety of feedback like these reports. There are multiple delivery methods, and intravenous delivery is generally for overall systemic improvement. I'll show you the carotid injection method another time. It's injected into the neck area. It sounds a bit scary, but we use ultrasound guidance for very precise injection, so it's fine.